Although Uganda has one of the world's highest fertility rate, a study in 2018 by the Ministry of Health showed that 10 to 15% of homes or couples in Uganda are not able to bear children due to infertility. As African women, we are raised to believe that having a husband and bearing children is our primary goal. So it becomes very difficult if you're not able to check these boxes. Today on the show, we have Jassy K, who has agreed to share her poignant journey with us. Welcome, Jassy.
Thank you, Angie.
So we would like you to take us on this journey of, your hopes, your dreams, and the journey that finally got you here.
Okay. First of all, like you said, my name is Jassy K Ebwanyu. Been married, I make 5 years in Feb. Oh. We got married in 2015, very young and excited. And just like most couples have been planning, you plan like basically your entire life. Yeah. Like when I get married, after 1 year, we'll have a child, we'll have all these businesses, we'll be very excited about our lives. Just like any other couple, we also had those plans. After a year, we then got serious into the whole search for a baby. And 5 years down the road, we are still praying and believing for the child.
So, okay, of course, again, as Angie said, there is a whole societal expectations, cultural expectations about ticked boxes, yes? So it only comes naturally, whether it's bad manners or not, it comes naturally for people to ask, because you know your story, you know your journey, because I think I've heard you say before that you actually wanted to wait for the first year after marriage. No, you didn't. You planned with your husband not to dive into it immediately, and then after the 1 year wait, you became intent about trying, and then this is 5 years later, 4 years later, well, and you still have not seen this child that you're longing for. So my question is about your response. I'm sure. So I want to understand how you feel when people ask you. You know, when as we come back, they always tell you, mugole asesema, you know, mulwade, yeah, what you know, it's part of the, and people do it with no, I don't think they do it ill-intentioned. Yeah, they'll just, some do, I'm sure, but so how do you feel when this topic is brought up by your friends, by your family, by your colleagues, by people whose business it is none of, and how do you respond to this?
First of all, just like you said, we had our honeymoon for a month.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
hey.
yeah.
Wow!
Yeah, arrival.
Wow!
So we had a honeymoon for a month. So you can imagine the expectations.
Yes.
After 1 month of not being seen by people, then you come out and you're all glowing, you're all excited. Yeah. Then, as usual, people start pressing your stomach, wanting to offer you mangoes, raw mangoes, juice, oranges, cassava. You people, the winner was a random border guy. Now, my husband and I worked in the same organization. So one of those random days, I go outside and the border guy is asking me, "Kulikayo mugole? Should we count the months now? Should we start counting?" And it's like everybody's business, especially because the African society, this whole thing of people contributed to the wedding. So they feel kind of entitled to ask. So where are the results for the money that we put in into all this? Yes, it feels, yes. And honestly speaking, some people ask, like you said, from a very innocent place, like good intentions. But that time, for the first year, it really didn't bother us because our permanent answer was we were still young. We were still young, we were still getting to understand each other. We had never lived together before, so it was a whole new space of we're shifting into this house, getting to know this person. Even within the year, you start to feel like, but wait, really? Like, why are we not having this child again? You start asking yourself these questions. But then you quickly remember, but we are not yet ready to have this child. Then after that 1 year, like when we were celebrating our first anniversary, you're like, now, why don't we have this child? Let's start having this child. Then now the questions at that point bring different emotions because you're actually trying.
Yeah. Hold on, sorry to cut you short. Were you on any form of contraceptive?
That's
the
exactly
first-
what I was going to ask,
the
because that's what
first
they
year?
usually ask, yes.
So the first year, we were not on any sort of contraception.
Wow.
God's grace, really.
God's great. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
We were not.
Yeah, because usually when guys have said I'm going to do a year and wait off, they're going to go into contraception.
That's what I...
And then when they don't have the baby after, usually people find it easy to blame the contraception, like
Yes.
the early contraception,
Yes.
the early onset of contraception.
Yes.
But now she says she wasn't, then
We actually went to the doctor. We had conversations with a guy, and we even went to that point of come back next week for the decision. But my heart did not have peace. I said, you know what, I'm not going to do anything.
okay.
I just refused to do any contraception. So after the year, that 1 year space, we now actually started trying to have the children. So many things start coming into your mind. The age. Everybody keeps reminding you that every passing year, you're not 25. If you're still 25, it's 25 plus 1,
Yeah.
26 plus 2, 2 years of shipping and other things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every passing year, you're not growing any younger. You even start to wonder what's happening. So I left campus, immediately after campus, I got a job. So I didn't do this job searching thing. Maybe I will, don't know it. So I got a job, and after getting the job, now I got the husband. Like everything was Kwagamba. I think the parents loved it. Like what else? Now the child has to come so that this thing is we are done. Now we're just missing a house, like 2-3 bedrooms we are good to go really. Arrival, we've made it in life. And then the child doesn't come. And then everybody's asking. And I worked in a place where there were so many fresh graduates. So they were definitely, pregnancies.
Yeah.
You're like, but God, how can they give the other person, and me, I am here, sleeping and waking up at the altar, telling you every day how I need a child. And someone comes and tells you, I got married the other week, and Munange, we're pregnant, but we're not ready, we're not expecting it.
Yeah.
And you're just praying for that car, just to pass by your gate. Even if it was lingering, you just grab it and bring it in.
If it was wondering which gate to go
No, come. I'm here waiting for you.
Yeah.
And all the pressures, everybody kept asking. Family functions. Even the person who heard about your wedding did not come. But they feel like by now you should have gotten a child.
Yeah.
So the pressure, like the honest truth is, the two of you may not put yourselves on pressure, but everybody else around you feels entitled to say something about that child.
Yeah. So Jassy, what have been the most tender episodes of this journey? Like where you feel, okay, this is it. I'm breaking down now.
So I remember, first of all, I'm Christian, so a lot of my stories will be linked to something Christian. Yeah. So I remember one time I went to church to pray, and around that same time, a friend of mine was had gotten married. So I'm at church, and then I see a picture on Facebook that she was pregnant. She was about 6 months pregnant. So I sent her a message with so much excitement, because for me, a child means so much. Like, it means excitement, it means joy. And then I sent her a message, congratulations. She's like, no, you saw badly. That was not me. That was my sister. I remember going to God and asking, but why are you giving children to people who do not want them? Yes. And I am here. I have prayed. I have fasted. I have believed. I have done all these things. And I don't have this child.
I need to understand, it wasn't her child, like, for real.
It was her,
but
she was pregnant.
Basking in the excitement.
Yeah, she was even hiding away from it.
It wasn't me. It was my sister. And actually later I got found out she gave birth. And it sort of soiled our relationship a bit because the time, and by the way, I celebrate her child. Like, I'm excited when I see the baby. But it's just that at that time in my life, it felt like, how? And then the worst bit is there are quite a number of scenarios. I've met so many women who ask me, why are you not pregnant yet? And like you said, the pressure is usually on the women. Yes. That's true. And then later I get to discover these are women who have had the same experiences.
Yes.
Is that possible?
Yes.
You would do that to another woman
Would
after
you
Yes.
do that to somebody?
Yes.
I mentioned that when we were still
Yes.
in the green room.
Goosebumps. Like you have bad manners.
Yes.
Why would you do
People
that?
who finally get babies from IVF, I say that it's like if they forget. They forget their journey. And they're like, I mean, why don't you have one? Try these different, the methods are there. It worked for me, it should work for you.
Hey.
I'm so annoyed.
Yes. Later, you get to discover this person waited for 10 years, they waited for 11 years. They probably had a miscarriage in like somewhere along the way. And you know, and I'm looking at them thinking, you know better. You know better not to ask such questions. You know better not to start certain discussions. You know which angle this should be coming from and not from an angle of why are you not. And the funny thing is because everyone thinks the woman has a problem, all the pressure is on you. All the pressure is on you. So you start to think for a long time now, I'm a high achiever, I focus, when I put my mind to something, I will achieve it. It doesn't matter what, I will achieve it. So you can imagine what this one failure was doing to me.
It messes with your head, I'm sure.
It does.
This one failure, I would reach home and I would cry every night. And my husband would keep asking me, but who has asked you for a child? Have I asked you for a child?
No.
Have I asked you for a child? And that was one of like my wake-up calls.
Yeah.
It was one of my wake-up calls. In that moment, I felt like he wasn't understanding me. Like, boss, it is me who's failing to have this child.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one supposed to carry this child for 9 months.
Yeah.
And I'm failing. My body is not doing anything.
Yeah.
Please note, by this time we've not gone to any doctor. We have not gone anywhere. But the society has told me it is me.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who says what, even if we're together while this person said anything. In that moment, they're talking to me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so why do you think it's very difficult for women to speak out, or even fathers and men to speak out about infertility or an inability to have a baby? And for you, why are you doing it?
Okay, first of all, it's very embarrassing to talk about it. Because one, the thing that leads to having a child is a private moment. So you're literally bringing your private moment into a public space.
Okay.
So literally carrying that into a public space and saying, hey guys, I have failed. And not many people also like talking about their failures.
True.
They would rather keep quiet, do IVF undercover, do all these things undercover, and then come out with a successful story of, I have a child.
That's so true.
So why I speak about it is because I have experienced it. I know the pain of going through this journey on your own quietly. And I have met quite a number of women whom I've spoken to about this particular journey. And I realized that if no one talks about this now, so many people have lost their identity because all their focus is basically on the child. So, funny enough, people have actually lost jobs. People have lost marriages. People have lost... So things have fallen apart because of this. And if we do not address it, if we do not speak about the hope that is there, the fact that you are a person beyond the child.
Wow.
You are a person first beyond that child. There is something you are created to do. You have a purpose. That is why I talk about it, because I feel like we're losing so many great leaders. We're losing so many great people out there because I'm so focused on this one thing that I cannot focus on any other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, with love and care, Jassy wrote a book. It's called Any Day Now. It shares her journey, details about her journey, and those of others as well. And I read this book, and it's really, it's heavenly. It's enlightening, to be honest. It's emotional. It takes you on a roller coaster ride of emotions. It's a powerful book for anybody who's been struggling with, even if you want to share to empathize with the journey that Jassy is taking and many other women. This is the book to take, to read. Yeah. So in the book, you're explaining. You say one of the most important reasons that you wrote the book is to educate people on the facts about childlessness that people don't seem to understand, yes? So I'd like you to maybe share with us, with our audience, what facts these are, what misconceptions these are about childlessness that people don't seem ignorant about and that you're so passionate to share.
So one of the biggest things is it is okay not to have a child.
Wow.
It is okay.
Yeah.
Do you know that there are people who have died without getting onto an aeroplane? But they've died.
Wow. Oh my
You understand?
I'm still taking that in. I'm still taking that in. Yeah.
It is actually okay not to have children. And if you have them, it's an awesome gift. It's a blessing from God. Celebrate them. If you don't have them, it is okay.
It's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Second, what worked for you may not work for me.
Yeah.
True.
Because I've had people bring jerry cans of medicine, bring me tablets, recommend a pastor, recommend all these things. It worked for you. Praise God. It may not work for me.
Yeah.
And before I use it, I need to actually go get checked and see what exactly am I taking. Because you see, many people will come, like you'd be offended if I came and I gave you a Panadol.
Yeah.
Panadol is okay, it feels okay, but imagine if I gave you quinine.
Yeah.
What are you
Or
sick
the day
of?
after pill.
Yes, what are you sick of? Why am I offering you medicine? Where did you get it from? And you know we have a habit of just bringing medicine and saying, so-and-so said this will work for the tubes. Who said my tubes have a problem?
Oh my.
What if it's a thing of stress?
Yeah.
I'm not actually
yeah, what
performing.
If I was the problem? What if it is my hobby?
That was
What are
actually
you
going to
looking for
be,
this side?
yes, it was going to be my third point of, it's not always the women who have a problem.
Wow.
It's actually both the man and the woman. And that's a conversation that's supposed to be like in closed doors, where I'm not going to start going onto the microphone and saying, oh, by the way, I think my husband is impotent. No.
Yeah.
We're not going to have this discussion at a family dinner.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Unless we are close like that, but no.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's not a thing where a boss walks into an office and says, Ozala D.
Yeah.
And we talk about it.
No, no,
Conversation.
no. Please do not offer anybody advice if,
Yeah.
like, you're not close like that.
Yeah.
There's so many things in there that we could delve into, but I feel like those are like the key things. It is okay not to have a child. Have peace.
Yeah.
Have peace. And not everything that everybody offers you, you should take.
Yeah.
Take from a place of peace,
Yeah.
from a place of understanding. Why am I taking these things? Have I been checked? Am I aware of what's happening in my body? Do I have information enough to guide my decision? Or is it because auntie so-and-so loves me? They all do. And friend so-and-so offered this, it worked for her. Mumbwa, you guys, there is medicine out there.
Yeah.
There is medicine out there. It could actually kill your tubes. It could kill the entire reproductive
system.
because you're looking for a child.
Yeah.
And many times we end up taking medicine, not because I badly need that child, but because so-and-so has said.
Would you be so kind as to share what alternatives you've decided as a couple to approach? We were talking earlier about reborn babies abroad. That has become an option for moms that are childless. These are babies that lifelike dolls, actually, that moms are taking on, or women are taking on, because they can't have babies. So, what alternatives have you guys looked at?
So my story, like I said, is really Christian, but like everything is Christian. For us, we've prayed about it, and we know it's just not yet the time.
Yeah.
The time is not now.
Yeah.
So in the time that we have now, we're literally living our lives, like pouring out our lives to everything else around us.
Okay.
And I believe, for me, that has worked for me with my husband. But there are so many options, and we've discussed all of them. We've talked about adoption, we've talked about the surrogate, but at the back of our minds, we know that it's just not yet the time. Because for me as a Christian, I know that God doesn't give me a child for me to just be happy, celebrate, see a little child run around. God is thinking generations.
Yeah.
God is thinking impact of this child for the future generations.
Yeah.
So for me, asking him for a child right now is a bit selfish, because it's for me. It's for me to just be there and tell people, by the way, I have a child. And you know the funny thing is, no one wants me to have this child more than God, because it's for his glory. Like for him to silence the enemy, he will want me to have this child. So because he loves me, he loves my husband, and he wants the very best for us and plans to prosper us, means we will have that child. So right now is not the time, so we will not even have to lose sleep over the child.
How would you advise honestly concerned friends and family how to approach the subject childlessness?
I feel like if you don't have relational capital with the people, don't ask. Like if we are not like so close, or if I don't bring up the conversation, please don't go asking. Because sometimes it's not a thing of we are failing, it could be planned. I could be going back to school. I may need some time to settle in everything and then be able to have these children. Actually, I have a friend who took 3 years, and during the 3 years, people had prayer altars at her house, and it was because she was in school. But everyone was offering to come, to bring a pastor. But you see how offended you can be because of such a thing, and yet everybody else is coming from a very good place.
Hold on, what if you have told people you've been trying, but you haven't yet gotten the baby?
Then it means you have relational capital.
Then you have relational capital.
Yeah.
Like now, do you have relational capital with everybody who has watched
Now,
your
my case is a bit different because I have chosen to to offer this information to help someone else. I'm actually offering this information because I know there's someone else who is going through the same thing. However, tomorrow if someone got married, after they come back from honeymoon, it's not your place to go poking and asking and, have the discussion if you're very close. Because I've been asked for a child by, like I said, a border man, a random border guy, workmates, some like really random people. We have no relationship. Like I said, the actions that lead to the child are private actions. For you to come and ask me, so are you in public? You get?
There's people who even go ahead and said, have it during the day, have it,
my friend, positions,
or
why you're not doing the right thing. My husband was told, he was asked by a friend, do you need support to jet kulage chokola?
Can you imagine?
Okay, now when you hear it from a man,
I know it's so, I can't imagine what men go through.
So if you don't have relational capital, please do not go there.
I also think that if you don't have, there's some ways of being tactical. Remember, like we said, if someone has had a C-section, you actually don't have to ask, have you had a C-section?
Did you give birth normally?
Did you give birth normally? You just call and say, for how long will you be in hospital? If they say, I'm leaving on Friday, that means they had a C-section. You don't have to be very bright. If they say, no, I'm leaving tomorrow, that was a vaginal birth. Tactful. So you have to be really tactful about how you ask those questions.
Question, once again, back to our society. As Africans, it's like, hello, how are you? Ozalaji. You get what I mean?
Yes, part of the greeting.
I'm also saying that we have to be a bit, give leeway to that person who has been raised.
No, I think let us do better. We
I
cannot
think so.
keep stuck in archaic norms and always fall back on the position that, but that's how we are. If the people now are telling you they are being hurt by it, change. Stop it.
I'll give you an
Oh,
example.
I wouldn't, but I'm just saying that our aunties, our mothers, you get what I mean?
Tactical.
Yes.
No, to be honest. I'll give you an example. Like, I knew her, but not from very near. I just knew she had a wedding. I was among those ones. Random ones who have no business asking. But because you've met her and you know her, and then you're holding, and then you can't just hug and say, hi, how are you? Then you go. I don't know. I think because I also overjudged.
So what did you do?
Hey!
You say what you did.
No, but I just asked, hey, hi, how are you? Is everything okay? Are we praying for a baby? Are we praying for a baby, or we have a baby? Because I didn't know she had been married for a while. Does she have a baby? Because I can't ask how are the children. I've ever gotten that one. How are the children? And someone answered, I don't have a child. I'm like,
yes.
So like, from that time, I'd say in my mind, I'm like, let me ask. Is there a baby or are we praying for a baby?
Yes.
I found that one when you can say, you say pray and God, people are nice to you.
Yes.
So she said, no, we're still praying for the baby. I said, okay, fine, let's continue to pray. And I bust. No, she can't even remember. Daddy, how do you see me?
So that's what I'm trying to say as Africans, because they will ask.
Yes.
So we should find, rather than saying don't ask, we should find ways that you can ask without offending somebody.
Yes.
I feel like we need to change the narrative.
Yeah.
Like so many things are changing about Africans. Previously we were saying if you want to hide something from Africans, put it in a book. Now we are writing books.
Come on
Now we are telling these stories. We are writing our own stories. So we have to change this narrative. The reason why I actually tell my stories to let other people know how some of these things affect the people that you're asking.
Yeah.
I have relatives who, after I wrote the book, they read the book and they actually apologized. Yeah. After I wrote the book, they now got to understand where I was coming from. Yes. Because you can imagine the number of churches I've been invited to, how they feel my pastor will not be able to bring this anointing. This other pastor will bring it out. I'm Christian. It is not even just about the pastors, it's God.
Yes.
It's not even about yes, the pastor is the vessel, yes, but my relationship with God is very, very key.
He's the only one in your private matters.
He's the one whom I'm crying to. He's the one I'm speaking to. He knows my husband. He knows me very well. He formed us. Yeah. So there is no way you want this child more than God. There is no way. Yeah. You have good intentions, we appreciate. But I feel like we need to be able to change this narrative. You're coming from a good place, we appreciate. But if you have no relationship with a person, you have no business asking them. If you have a relationship with the person, cultivate it to the point where you feel it's comfortable to have certain conversations. If you're Christian, it's not about the church that you're going to. It's the God that we serve. So many people, if you read my book, you'll see people who said, some of the ladies were called witch doctors because they don't have children. Some of the ladies were called, like you have all these, but you guys as Christians, we have so many things in our doctrine. You don't have a child because you aborted when you were young. You don't have a child because you did this. How do you explain a prostitute who was a child?
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you explain that? Yeah. How do you explain a pastor's wife who's at the altar every night and has no child? How do you explain that? We need to reach a point where you understand that it's not even about you and me and everything. Yes. God has a plan. Yes. And his word tells me that his plan is to prosper me. His word tells me he has given me everything pertaining to life and godliness. Is a child a part of the life? Yes. Yes. Does he want his kingdom to expand? Yes. How does it expand? Through people. Why am I worried?
It is for God's own good.
Yes. When the Bible said, for his glory. In Luganda, I would love to put it in Luganda and say, Sija kuswalanga mukama. Yeah. Like I shan't allow myself to swallow because, these things are yours, they're all yours, enjoy. Yeah. So I feel like I said, relationship is very key.
Wow. Thank you so much for joining us, Jassy. We've had a very interesting evening. We've learned quite a lot. Can I go off script for a second? The five of us, one is missing. We always have discussions. We agree, we disagree, but we always somehow work it out. Yes. For this particular show, I had a different person I wanted to bring to the show and said, no, Angie, I'm bringing this other person. And we finally agreed. After watching your clip, I realized that everything that I wanted to bring from the other person, you brought. Infertility, not having children, isn't supposed to be like a cross that we are bearing, And the fact that you have brought that out, people need to understand that there is a time for everything, your time will come, and even if it doesn't, it's still okay. Yes. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for coming. Until next time, with love from Bump Love.